Echoes of Wisdom timeline placement is in hot debate right now given the game's release and the reveal of its lore and its story, locations and its characters. Well, today I want to review all the evidence since the game's release and try and pinpoint exactly where on the Zelda timeline Echoes of Wisdom falls. So if you enjoyed the video, then subscribe for more Zelda content here on Triforce Times and turn on notifications to never miss an update. Also, before we dive into the video, this is a spoiler warning for the events in Echoes of Wisdom, so if you don't want to be spoiled, click away from the video now. Well, recently I discussed a theory that Echoes of Wisdom could be the earliest story in the Legend of Zelda series, and could be before Skyward Sword. Well, that was based on the very thin similarities between the events of Echoes of Wisdom and the Skyward Sword prologue. However, having reviewed that information, there's overwhelming evidence to suggest that theory cannot be correct. But before I dive into another Echoes of Wisdom timeline theory, I want to go over the details. Well, here are the reasons why it's unlikely Echoes of Wisdom isn't before Skyward Sword, and first of all, we have Ganon. So Ganon is in Echoes of Wisdom, not Ganondorf, but Ganon who looks very similar to the Ganon found in A Link to the Past, plus also Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. It is unlikely to be before the events of Skyward Sword, given the story hasn't played out with Demise leading to the curse where Link, Zelda and Ganon are reborn in cycles. Well, next up we've got Zelda, so it's unlikely to be before the events of Skyward Sword because of the existence of Zelda herself. Hylia is reborn on Skyloft as a mortal girl named Zelda in Skyward Sword, so the very existence of Zelda is enough to debunk that theory. Well, then we've got Hyrule. So during the events of Echoes of Wisdom, Null describes Hyrule as being well established. Hyrule was once ruled by Hylia as the unnamed land in ancient times, and it became established as the Kingdom of Hyrule by the descendants of Zelda in Skyward Sword. Well, next up we've got similarities to A Link to the Past. There's many locations in Echoes of Wisdom that are very similar to A Link to the Past. We can see the Pond of Happiness at Lake Hylia, also the Swamp Ruins, we've got the Weathercop from Kakariko Village, and even that bush formation next to Hyrule Castle. So Metroid Mike 64 on Twitter lays out some more locations like the destroyed ruins of the Desert Palace. We've also got the Haunted Grove where Flute Boy once played his song. So all in all, there's plenty of evidence to confirm that Echoes of Wisdom is not before Skyward Sword. I'm going to hold my hands up for this one, but some interesting questions remain. Where is the Master Sword? Why doesn't Zelda know Link? They may not be lore-breaking questions because there have been many other games that don't feature the Master Sword, plus also Zelda often meets Link during the Legend of Zelda games. Okay, next up, let's have a look at the Echoes of Wisdom timeline placement once again. So, given Echoes of Wisdom isn't likely to be before Skyward Sword, then where does it sit? Well, it is highly likely that Echoes of Wisdom takes place within the Fallen timeline. Now, this is after the events of Ocarina of Time, where the Hero of Time fails to defeat Ganondorf. That resulted in him stealing the Triforce of Wisdom, and also the Triforce of Courage as well. Well, Hyrule's map is a clue to the timeline placement. It's very similar to A Link Between Worlds, plus also it looks like an extended map from A Link to the Past, which has been pieced together by the excellent Twitter user Hikaru Tsukushi. Well, Echoes of Wisdom could take place after A Link to the Past. We can see many places in Echoes of Wisdom that appear to be ruined versions of locations from A Link to the Past. Plus also, we've got the two Zora races, which were only ever shown previously together in the Oracle games. Echoes of Wisdom shares much of the aesthetics from the Fallen Hero timeline, and while it seems to be the most obvious answer, it is highly likely to be the simplest explanation. The exact placement on the timeline is still up for debate, but it does appear it's after the events of A Link to the Past because of the similarities to the locations. The lack of Ganondorf in the game is also a good indicator of the Fallen timeline. The Ganon Echo in Echoes of Wisdom may very well be an echo of the original Ganon defeated in A Link to the Past. This version of Ganon appeared in A Link to the Past, the Oracle games and A Link Between Worlds. However, pre-release fans were wondering, how could this be Ganon given he was defeated in A Link to the Past? Well, given Null's Echo ability, Null could have captured Ganon at one point in time, then copied him storing his Echo for future use and then deploying him here in Echoes of Wisdom to cause chaos. Well, Echoes of Wisdom could be also a Link's Awakening sequel. The events of that game played out in Link's dreams, so Zelda may not have known Link as we see in Echoes of Wisdom. I don't think we have a direct sequel situation here, much like we see with Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and also Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Nintendo have said in the past that they prioritise gameplay over story. However, IG Aonuma did mention the story component in a recent RC developer interview, and IG Aonuma said, "When we adopted a game plot that was not in line with other games in the series, because we prioritised the gameplay, we've been told by our fans that it didn't make sense. We realised that even if the developers didn't intend to make nonsensical changes, players could interpret otherwise." Well, quite IG Aonuma, and it's a good thing that you're finally taking a look at the story, and hopefully you can carry that into the next mainline Zelda game. And he's almost apologising there, saying the developers didn't intend to make nonsensical changes. You know, it's an interesting little bit of context, as Nintendo aren't really known for commenting on the interconnected nature of the story and the lore. Another connection of Link's Awakening is the visual style, of course. May seem obvious, but other games that have seen a visual style connection like Ocarina and Majora's Mask, we got Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they share a visual style and are continuations of the stories there. And given the lack of traditional elements in Link's Awakening like no Hyrule, no Zelda, no Triforce, it's hard to say if it is a true sequel. Ultimately, we're going to have to wait for Nintendo to place Echoes of Wisdom in the timeline, but the evidence that we see in the game, I think it's safe to assume that Echoes of Wisdom takes part in the Fallen timeline. So one interesting detail regarding the exact placement of Echoes of Wisdom could be related to the Triforce still being whole in the game. In the events of the Oracle games, the Triforce splits apart, turns into a bird and flies off in different directions. The Triforce is still split in A Link Between Worlds, therefore Echoes of Wisdom could take place after A Link to the Past. Well, discussing the timeline is one of the best bits about taking part in the Zelda community, and let me know in the comments what you think about Echoes of Wisdom and where it sits in the Zelda timeline. I would love to hear what you think. Thank you everybody for contributing to the video earlier in the week and also this video too. Really appreciate it, but let me know in the comments what you think. Well, that is it for this additional look at where Echoes of Wisdom falls on the Zelda timeline, and as always, thank you so much for watching or for listening. Don't forget you can hit that subscribe button down below for even more Zelda content here on Triforce Times. And you can also like the video and share the video too, that would help me out here on the channel. Well, thanks again, I'll see you soon. Well, this video is brought to you by Triforce Times Backstage. This is available through Patreon or YouTube membership, and you're going to get exclusive benefits, plus you'll be able to go above and beyond to support Triforce Times. Free content is core to Triforce Times, and you can continue to enjoy these videos that you know and love. However, if you want to enjoy the benefits like early access, our community Discord, shoutouts in the credits of videos, content polls and exclusive videos, then select the tier that is right for you and join Triforce Times Backstage today. So help me make Triforce Times be even bigger and better, plus you're going to get some added benefits for a small fee every month. Well, thank you for listening, and now it is time to go back to the video.